Yeah,
What's the energy like over there the first couple of months at Unplugged?
I think it's been more hectic than anything because everyone hasn't had a minute to digest it enough. I would say to be like,
Mm.
oh wow, that's like so awesome. We did so great. It was one of those we did amazing on our like grand opening weekend, and then it was like the next weekend was Black Friday weekend. So we
So just
were
keep it going,
we
right? Like
were
you just shot off
yeah.
like a rocket.
It was just like okay, now we're into Black Friday, and now we're into Christmas, and now we're into the new year, and it hasn't really slowed down. So let's keep going and
Yeah.
doing new things. We had a maybe a tiny break for a week or two in January. Not really a break. We were still doing really well, but then it was right into February releases, which has just been insane for the gaming industry in February.
Yeah, it sure has. So before we jump into everything, usually I like to start out with a little bit of the origin story of why you got into this business. Why tabletop gaming in general, right? Like for you, you've come from a completely different background, a completely different industry, and then you're now shifting into this more fun, well, hopefully fun and energetic, tabletop hobby. It's very different from digital marketing and like the agency life. So well, what were you up to before, and why did you end up, starting the business? What was the dream there?
Yeah, yeah. We originally my background is about 10 years in digital marketing before this, and 7 years ago I started Digital Hive with my business partner, and it was online advertising, and that's what we did for local businesses, small businesses, and medium sized businesses. And after getting to the point before we even knew it was going to get acquired, COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
That thing happened, and before that, my wife and I have always played board games together. So with her parents, so her parents always had a weekly game night. We always went over to her parents' house, played game nights every week. We still do. We just did yesterday. Um, so we did that, and that was a big passion of ours. And we've always collected Pokemon cards, like Pokemon cards, way before this huge craze. We would be the ones that would go to Target and like buy out Target before Pokemon was popular.
Mm-hmm.
Back in like 2015, 16, no one else was doing it. No one cared that we were just ripping open everything that we had. And now we cry because some of those things we ripped open for $50 are now like $600, and we're like, why did we rip open 10 of those? Like, that's so sad. But we enjoyed it, and when COVID happened, my wife wasn't working. I was working from home. We were both at home, and we were buying a lot of trading cards. And our first thought was, how do we how do we do something with this? Like, what should we start selling some of our extra cards? What do we do with this? And we really went down the road of I made a half joke of, hey, let's just start a game store, like a local game store during this, and it'll be fun. Like, you can mainly work on shipping the products and stuff while I'm at home, and in between my work, I can work on advertising it and doing that kind of stuff. And we can just sell some of our stuff that we have online and maybe make something out of it, since we were both kind of like at home and bored at our off time because we weren't going anywhere. We were just hermits staying at home at that time. And we finally were like, okay, let's just try it. So we did it, and when we ended up doing it, we realized then we had to go down the path of like trying to get distributors or doing things, and we were like, we can't get into most of these distributors because we didn't realize we needed a retail store at the time, and the only thing we could really get was Pokemon. So we started doing that. We got we started getting some Pokemon cards, very little of them, and this was right before the craze and the boom, which
Mm-hmm.
is so crazy because some of our distributors now tell us today that we were one of the last game stores that they took on before they closed the doors and stopped taking on game stores.
Mm-hmm.
And we signed up for probably, I think, 10 to 12 distributors when we first started because there was so little allocation for things too. Um, but we started signing up for distributors in September of 2020, for doing like online sales stuff. And when that happened, really the way we launched the online store was we built a Facebook group. We built a Pokemon card trading card Facebook group that now has over 11,000 members in it. Um, And with our launch, we sold out of all of our products in a day. So we launched the online Shopify store. We put all our Pokemon products on it, and then we sold out that day when we posted on the Facebook group. And we were like, "What the heck?" We just did like a few $1,000s in sales in a day, and we were not expecting that at all. So that kind of led to, shoot, let's maybe look for a place, like a physical location, because we started getting more product than what we could put in our house, or anywhere around there. So we ended up actually renting a space in our small hometown of Chittenango, which is right next to Manlius, pretty much. And we got a place there where we pretty much stored everything and kept everything, and started shipping out of there for the most part until we outgrew that and decided to open the game store in November.
So it's the love of the gaming, right? That's essentially. It's funny how that is such a common reason for store owners to open their business. It's just a passion for the hobby, and it just becomes like, well, I feel like I can make a run of this. I feel like this is a viable business.
Yeah, and I think what drew me to it the most too was I was mostly on the business to business service side in marketing. Most of the businesses that we advertised were business to business and service side, and I really wanted to get the experience advertising more consumer facing retail product focus side, which I didn't have as much experience on advertising. Some, but not a ton compared to the B2B service side, which that's what I did for 8 years or 7 years. Um, so that was one of the reasons too, was I was really curious, can I do this? I'd like to see what this looks like, versus the service side thing. And with it just blowing up like that, we we were like, wow, we could actually make a go of this and make it something.
So when it came to like advertising, you mentioned that you were handling the marketing advertising side of things, and your wife was doing the shipping, the operations, I guess, of the initial online store. So what kind of advertising efforts did you put into it?
We really just advertised the Facebook group. So we pretty much did Facebook ads to advertise people coming into the Facebook group. And it was really different. What we would do is we would advertise a landing page with an email address, like an email landing page. So you have to put your name and email in, and it would say, join our Facebook group. And it was giveaways. So we'd be doing giveaways for Pokemon cards in the Facebook group. We
Gotcha.
would say, put in your email and name, and you'll get invited to this exclusive Facebook group, because you couldn't directly advertise a Facebook group on Facebook. There's like some things you have to work around there. And so they put their name and email in, they'd get a link into the Facebook group, and so you have to join the Facebook group to join the giveaways. And that's how we originally, before we launched the store, we had about 1,500 people in our Facebook group. And now we're close to, like, getting closer to 12,000 now people in that Facebook group.
Were they locals to the area, or were you just like everybody could join?
It was just anyone that was interested in Pokemon cards could join, or
Gotcha.
interested in Pokemon at the time. And it's still still Pokemon focused.
That's a really interesting strategy. I've never heard of a store kind of focusing on building a Facebook group prior to building a business and then using that as like a launching pad. That's a really cool way of doing it.
Yeah, it worked. We honestly had no idea what was going to happen when we turned on the website. And I remember we turned on the website, it was around midnight on Halloween. So it was like yeah, like November 1st. But it was the middle of the night of Halloween we launched the website. And we just started getting sales right away after we posted the link in the Facebook group. And we were like, what the heck? We didn't think we'd start getting sales that quickly.
So before we get into the launch of the retail store, I'm still kind of curious about this Facebook group. What did you do like once somebody signed up and they joined the group? What did you do to like encourage the group, or were you constantly participating? Where there, besides the giveaways, perhaps was there efforts to start conversations? Like how did you keep this group kind of active?
The group was great. We rarely posted in it, which was awesome because there was so many people posting themselves that the engagement was so high already. And it still is. The engagement's just been growing and growing as the group grows. And it's really just people posting polls they might have gotten, pictures of cards they got. We allow people to sell just trick cards there, but no sealed product. So they
Gotcha.
actually can still sell Pokemon trading cards in that, buy and sell cards in that group. We do buy cards now in the retail store, but we still don't see it as we saw it as more of an engagement thing in the group now. So we never said, hey, you can't do this anymore, because we knew the engagement would
drop.
pretty much die in that group. And so that's really, is mostly a buy-sell trade group. And we do post, like, welcome new members. We post that once, probably once every 2 weeks, something like that. Once every week, once every 2 weeks. And we just tag all the new members. Every once in a while, we probably post 4 or 5 times a month in the group. And it's either welcome new members, or not including our drops that we might do for the store to say, hey, we have this new product in stock, buy this thing. You know, we'll probably do a post tomorrow for Brilliant Stars or something when we get the rest of ours in. From that, it was really welcome new members, or sometimes we would just shoot a poll out there and say, what's your favorite Pokemon card set or something, just to kind of keep engagement going. And we realized that we got way more reach if I personally posted it versus our actual Facebook page posting it. Mm-hmm. So we kind of stopped with the Unplugged Gaming Facebook page posting, and it's been coming from my personal page posting the links or the promotions to our web store.